are nations with history. And then there are civilizations so ancient that history itself seems to flow from them. India is not just a country. It is a living civilization. Here, time does not move in straight lines. The past breathes beside the present. Ancient rituals exist alongside cutting-edge technology. From sacred rivers to space exploration, from stone temples to silicon chips, India's story is one of continuity, resilience, and reinvention. This is a land that has given the world mathematics and meditation, zero and yoga, democracy and digital innovation. This is Wonders of India, Innovation and Heritage. Chapter 1. Geography. The land that shapes a civilization. Visuals. Map animation, Himalayas, deserts, rivers, coastline. India's story begins with geography. To the north rise the majestic Himalayas, the highest mountain range on Earth, a natural wall that shaped climate, culture, and history. From these mountains flow sacred rivers that nurtured civilization for thousands of years. The Ganges River, the Yamuna River, the Indus, once home to one of the world's earliest urban cultures. To the west lies the Thar Desert. To the south, a vast peninsula stretches into the Indian Ocean, touching global trade routes for millennia. India's geography made it both protected and connected, a rare balance that allowed ideas to grow while still engaging the world. Chapter 2. The Indus Valley, Birth of Urban Innovation. Visuals. Archaeological reconstructions, ancient city layouts. More than 4,500 years ago, while much of the world lived in small villages, India was already building cities. The Indus Valley Civilization was one of the world's earliest and most advanced urban societies. Cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro featured grid-based streets, advanced drainage systems, standardized brick construction. Homes had bathrooms. Cities had sewage systems. Urban planning followed scientific principles. This was innovation far ahead of its time. The Indus Valley people valued cleanliness, order, and sustainability, values that still echo in Indian culture today. Chapter 3. The Vedic Age, Knowledge as Sacred Power. Visuals. Forest hermitages, ancient manuscripts, chanting. As urban centers declined, India's civilization did not disappear, it transformed. The Vedic age emphasized knowledge, philosophy, and cosmic order. Ancient texts known as the Vedas explored astronomy, mathematics, medicine, ethics. Knowledge was passed orally with astonishing accuracy, a testament to India's intellectual discipline. During this era, India gave the world the concept of zero, decimal systems, early algebra and geometry. These innovations would later travel to the Middle East and Europe, shaping modern science. In India, learning was not separated from spirituality. Knowledge itself was sacred. Chapter 4. Spiritual Innovation, a New Way to See Life. Visuals. Monasteries, meditation, ancient sculptures. India's greatest innovation may not be technological, but philosophical. It is the birthplace of major world religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism. In the 6th century BCE, Gautama Buddha challenged ritualism and social hierarchy, offering a path based on compassion and mindfulness. His teachings spread across Asia, influencing billions. India introduced ideas that transformed humanity, non-violence, meditation, inner liberation. These philosophies continue to shape modern psychology, wellness, and global ethics. Chapter 5. Maurya and Gupta Empires, the Golden Age of Knowledge. Visuals. Imperial art, ancient universities, pillars. India's first great empire emerged under Ashoka in the 3rd century BCE. After witnessing the horrors of war, Ashoka embraced peace, tolerance, and governance based on moral law. His stone edicts, still visible today, promoted religious freedom. Social welfare, justice. Centuries later, the Gupta Empire ushered in a golden age of science and art. During this time, astronomy calculated planetary movements. Surgeons performed complex operations. Scholars estimated Earth's circumference. Indian mathematicians laid foundations that modern science still depends on. Chapter 6. Architecture as Eternal Memory. Visuals. Temples, caves, monuments. India's heritage is carved into stone. From the rock-cut caves of Ajanta and Ellora to the soaring temples of the south, architecture became a form of storytelling. One of the world's most iconic monuments stands as a symbol of love and artistic perfection, the Taj Mahal. Built in white marble, it blends Persian, Indian, and Islamic design, reflecting India's ability to absorb and transform influences. Every temple, mosque, and palace tells a story. Chapter 7. A Culture of Diversity. Visuals. Festivals, languages, clothing, food. India is not one culture, it is many. Over 1,000 languages and dialects are spoken. Dozens of cuisines thrive. Festivals celebrate light, harvest, color, and faith. Yet despite immense diversity, a shared philosophy binds the nation: unity in diversity. This cultural flexibility allowed India to survive invasions, colonization, and change, without losing its soul. Chapter 8. India at the Crossroads of the Ancient World. Visuals. Animated ancient trade routes, ships, caravans crossing deserts. For thousands of years, India was not isolated. It was central. Long before globalization had a name, India stood at the crossroads of the ancient world, linking East Asia, the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. Indian merchants sailed the Indian Ocean using monsoon winds with remarkable precision. Caravans crossed land routes that would later be called the Silk Roads. Spices, textiles, precious stones, and ideas flowed outward. In return came influences in art, architecture, language, and governance. India did not merely trade goods. It traded knowledge. Indian numerals reached the Arab world and later Europe. Medical texts influenced Islamic scholars. Philosophical ideas traveled alongside merchants and monks. India was not just part of the global system. It helped create it. Chapter 9. The Rise of Regional Kingdoms. Visuals. Temple cities, royal courts, inscriptions. As large empires rose and fell, India entered a period of powerful regional kingdoms. From the Cholas in the south to the Palas in the east and Rajputs in the north, political power was decentralized, but cultural innovation thrived. The Chola Empire built naval power that extended Indian influence across Southeast Asia. Their temples were not just religious centers, they were hubs of education, engineering, art and dance. The Brihadiswarar Temple, built over 1,000 years ago, remains an architectural marvel, constructed without modern machinery, yet perfectly balanced and aligned. These kingdoms invested heavily in irrigation, metallurgy, astronomy, and urban planning. Innovation did not require a single empire. It flourished through diversity. Chapter 10. Science, Medicine, and Mathematics in Medieval India. Visuals. Manuscripts, observatories, scholars at work. During the medieval period, India remained a global center of learning. Indian scholars advanced algebra and trigonometry, astronomy and planetary motion, medicine and surgery. Ancient medical systems like Ayurveda described surgical instruments, herbal medicines, and holistic healthcare thousands of years ago. Texts detailed procedures such as cataract surgery and bone reconstruction, achievements unmatched in many parts of the world at the time. Mathematicians refined concepts of zero, negative numbers, infinite series. These ideas traveled westward, forming the backbone of modern mathematics and science. India's greatest innovation was not conquest, it was knowledge preservation and transmission. Chapter 11. The Arrival of Islam and Cultural Synthesis. Visuals. Mosques, calligraphy, mixed architectural styles. From the 7th century onward, Islamic traders and scholars arrived on India's western coast, not as invaders, but as merchants. Over time, Islamic rule expanded in northern India, bringing new cultural elements, Persian language and literature. New administrative systems, distinct architectural styles. Rather than replacing Indian traditions, these influences blended with them. The result was a unique Indo-Islamic culture, visible in music, food, art, and architecture. This synthesis demonstrated one of India's greatest strengths, the ability to absorb without losing identity. Chapter 12. The Delhi Sultanate, Governance and Innovation. Visuals. Forts, coins, administrative records. The Delhi Sultanate ruled large parts of India for over 300 years. Though often remembered for conflict, this era also saw major innovations in administration, taxation, urban infrastructure. New cities were built, road networks expanded, trade with Central Asia intensified. Paper currency, advanced coinage systems, and centralized governance strengthened the economy. India's one of history's most sophisticated empires. Under rulers like Akbar, India experienced unprecedented stability and cultural integration. Akbar promoted religious tolerance, merit-based administration, dialogue between faiths. He abolished discriminatory taxes and invited scholars from all religions to debate philosophy and ethics. For Akbar, governance was not domination, it was integration. Chapter 14. Mughal Architecture, Innovation in Stone. Visuals. Forts, gardens, symmetrical layouts. The Mughals transformed Indian architecture forever. They introduced symmetry and geometry, Charbagh garden layouts, advanced water engineering. Monuments were designed as expressions of cosmic order. The red forts, grand mosques, and mausoleums were not only symbols of power, they were feats of engineering and aesthetics. This architectural legacy would reach its peak in one of the world's most admired structures, a story reserved for the next chapter. Chapter 15. India's role in the global economy. Visuals. Textile production, ports, ships. By the 17th century, India was one of the world's richest regions. Indian textiles, especially cotton and silk, dominated global markets. European traders arrived not to conquer, but to participate. India accounted for a significant share of the world's GDP, supplying fabrics, steel, including advanced wood, steel, spices and dyes. India was not a passive economy. It was a manufacturing powerhouse. Chapter 16. A civilization that refused to break. Visuals. Diverse communities, rituals continuing through centuries. Through centuries of change, India's core survived. Empires rose and fell, languages evolved, religions interacted. Yet Indian civilization endured because it was flexible, not rigid. Traditions adapted, innovations were absorbed, identity expanded rather than fractured.